Can you hear me? You're in game chat. Why'd you invite me to the party? Hello?
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is basically the build of 2 weeks now.
You could do it a lot faster in creative, that's for sure.
Yeah, of course, like all of these end stone walls and everything would take like ages to get. I mean, it's of course possible, but I guess it would take like way too long.
Yeah, we spent 4 years doing a build at one point.
Yeah, so the problem is I basically got hit up by a server on PC who told me, hey dude, if you build us a map, we'll give you like some stuff.
Yeah.
So I just went ahead, started here, because you can transfer it, like you can transfer the data to PC, but you're gonna have to. It's weird. I don't know how to, but they obviously know how to, and they're basically gonna take like what they want off with World Edit.
Yep, not surprised. That's the way they're doing it nowadays. They take what they want so they can make themselves famous with it while you build it.
Yeah, well, I told them like, hey guys, I'ma like charge you for that because it's gonna be a lot of work.
And
Well, they told me like, yeah, we'll give you like $5 an hour, which for playing games isn't bad. And since all of my friends like wanted to do a creative world anyway, we just went ahead and just did it.
interesting. Nice chapel.
Yeah, that's my build, and the temple out on the sea is the build of my friend, who's currently sadly not able to come online because his PS Plus ran out.
That sucks.
Yeah.
So, would you like to hear a plan to save all species?
Okay.
I'm not kidding.
Okay.
Alright, so I'll have to explain the solar system a little bit just to be sure that you understand. So do you know what our Kuiper Belt is?
Yes, that's the belt between, like, in the middle of the solar system. Like, not in the middle, like, I think Jupiter is the first planet outside of it. Like that meteor belt.
All right. Well, the Kuiper Belt is an area outside of our solar system. Okay.
I think I
Uh,
know what you mean, yeah.
okay. Just outside our solar system, Pluto actually goes into it, and
Mm-hmm.
the Kuiper Belt itself is primarily composed of more hydrogen than are on all the inner planets combined.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, what I think we should do is one, we build a video game. In this video game, people are designing space stations, spaceships, whatever we would need to survive out there in space and all species on the planet. Okay? And they're
Mm-hmm.
flying drones and doing it with modular pieces.
I mean like Ender's Game type of thing.
Yes, in a way, how they're controlling the drones. So, what we do is we send drones to Pluto. They bore like a mine core shaft down into Pluto, uh, and wait until Pluto reaches the Kuiper Belt. That takes 20 years. Well, 10 years, 20 years round trip. Once Pluto reaches the Kuiper Belt, it travels out, and the drones all launch off and start gathering materials we need. Uh, Hydrogen is more abundant out there than on all inner planets combined, which is a primary ingredient in rocket fuel. Okay, so all
Hmm.
this hydrogen can be gathered by drones, used, sprayed out without actually changing it into anything to get momentum endlessly. They gather materials that we need. Pluto comes back around. We put more drones on it. Pluto goes back out. Okay. Now, people have been designing in this game for 20 years. We pick the best space stations, the best spaceships, everything, right?
Hmm.
And people start literally building them out there with modular designs. I have ideas on how that can be done simply as well. Nice sky ship that you're starting, by the way.
That's not me, that's my friend.
Mm. Uh, so Pluto comes back around. It allows all the drones that were out there for 20 years pack all the materials they've gathered into the into Pluto. Pluto comes back around. All the stuff gets launched from Pluto back towards Earth. It can either be smashed into the moon and gathered, or crashed into the Earth if they're small enough and gathered that way as asteroids. And that way, as they're being as the materials are falling through the solar system, falling through our atmosphere, they actually burn up and smelt themselves into smaller pieces for us automatically. Um, then we release a second game, which I would call Save All Species. In this second game, people who could qualify to fly the drones in the first game
Hmm.
literally fly the drones in the second game and allowing us to build everything we need to begin sending things from our planet out there. Now, we don't just bore a borehole in Pluto. We also bore a borehole in the moon. Now, the boreholes, we will place rare earth magnets and everything else and make kind of a rail gun. Okay? What this rail gun will do is
And
it'll launch.
how are you gonna produce the electricity? Like a railgun needs electricity. It won't work otherwise.
All right. Well, our moon is hollow. Okay? It rings like a bell. If you didn't know this, it is. At the center of our moon, there is a hollow core. If we're careful enough and we can drill down into that hollow core, if we turn it into a vacuum there, which it already is, and preserve the vacuum, what'll happen with in terms of quantum mechanics is particles that are traveling so fast that they normally pass directly through us all the time. Where this is happening all the time.
Hmm.
Astronauts who are on the space station will report seeing bright lights at times when they close their eyes. These are cosmic particles passing through. It's also one of the ways that
Yeah,
we
gamma
power our space
radiation. Yeah.
station. Hmm. And that's also one of the ways that we power our space station. In fact, they just recently repaired a device or replaced a device. It was supposed to be two women astronauts doing it, but it ended up being a woman and a man for a mistake they had with their spacesuits. Um, and we put one of those, a giant one, basically in the center of the moon. So particles passing through will be filtered out automatically by the gravitational size of the moon itself, and from there, any particles that go in will start automatically appearing in the center. When you have a vacuum inside a gravitational field inside a vacuum, space itself under quantum physics does not like there to be empty space. The stretching of space time will literally stop these more advanced particles and
Hmm.
cause it so that we can collect them, draw electricity for the said railgun. So, once the railgun is built, uh, it can use cylinders that are like train cars in space to launch from our moon towards Pluto to bring us out to these space stations that we've been building by drone, remote, without anyone ever leaving the planet.
But there's another problem with that.
What's that?
If you launch a human through a railgun, even in a vacuum, he's not gonna survive that because of the like
Well, you're
alone the
thinking a
air
railgun that
particles.
speeds up real quick. You're thinking a railgun in Earth, okay? A railgun in a vacuum works completely different. It slowly gains speed. So basically, with that borehole, we design the cylinder that I mentioned. We use the cylinder to literally launch that train car thing slowly, much like uh, the trains in Japan, the maglev trains run. Okay, so we load it down into the center of the planet, and then basically just give it a spring push. Once that's started, it passed rows and rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of magnets all the way to the edge of Pluto, speeding it up the entire way. Once it's out in space, the particles that we use for some of our satellites, we could put an engine, a pulse drive on it, basically sending out
Mm.
particles to speed up or slow down on either end. And in the same effect, on Pluto, you could do the same thing with the cylinder hole there, where it slows and slows and slows and slows down your ship as it's passing until it stops and lands inside the borehole created on Pluto.
But you'd have to have a way to slow down in case Pluto is not in the right position. Because if the borehole turns away from the moon, like
Well,
you're
that's I
basically
already
gonna just
described.
smash into the face of the Pluto.
Yeah, and I already described how to do that. We have pulse engines that slowly emit single particles that can speed up or slow down. We also have solar sails that can solar sail panels that are being used on current satellites that could be used in conjunction with this to help speed up or slow down using the particles being emitted by our sun. There's lots of ways of doing it. In addition, it's always easy to build emergency rockets with retro thrusters and everything else. I mean, you've played enough video games, I'm sure, to know that it's possible
Yeah.
in those terms, in terms of physics, right? You played space games, Star Wars games, anything that flies, No Man's Sky, etc.
Yeah, so the basically an idea that already exists is the idea to speed up with nuclear blasts in space, which would basically have to require a nuclear-proof shield, of course. Like you're gonna have to protect yourself from that blast to get
We
pushed
don't
forward.
use we don't use nukes now. The size of an object being transported in space really doesn't matter once it's in space.
Yeah, once it moves, it will move. Like there's nothing stopping it. But
Yeah, exactly. The only times where movement is really an issue is in the sense where it's a gravitational field where it's start slowing or stopping. And you know, it doesn't have to be traveled fast. I mean, remember, you got 20 years of aiming. Uh, that if you plan it right and make the cylinders large enough, can be used to drive the train car to where it needs to be. In addition, why would you use nuclear blast? That's really dangerous. Why wouldn't you just spray water that eventually will fall on the planet or spray out dirt? I mean, all it takes is an aerosol can to speed up and slow down at space. It's done over a long enough period, and that can be done with ejecting carbon dioxide that our bodies extrude, or waste matter, or anything else along the way that isn't being recycled. Anything that we can't recycle just is launched just like launched out of the back of the ship to slow it down. I mean, Seriously, I just figured out a way to cover several trillion miles worth
But
of
there is a
space.
problem with your thought.
What's that?
Like, it is right, they'll speed up the ship, but you'll have to have something that is on Earth heavier than the ship to even move the ship, because, like,
No, you don't, because
I'm
you're not building it on Earth. You're building it on the moon.
yeah, but if you want to move something, like, you would have to imagine that, like, shooting a slingshot in space.
Okay.
If you have a little metal ball
Mm-hmm.
in the slingshot and you shoot that, it will move, and you will move a very small amount, because, like, it's not heavy enough to move you. Because, like, the metal ball is not fixed in space. It will move easier than it will move you,
That's
which is the
incorrect.
problem.
Because you are in a gravity. Well,
No, you
okay.
don't need gravity for that.
Gravity is
Like,
already pulling you in space, no matter what you do, one direction or
yeah.
another, until you get outside of basically our galaxy or universe. Okay? So you already have gravitational fields pulling you. All you have to do is time it with the sun and other gravitational fields so that it's pulled out. You can also use the planet Earth itself as a slingshot to help gain speed while you're slowly ejecting materials to speed yourself up. I mean, we've already sent rockets and everything out to Mars and landed rovers and all kinds of shit. And we did that by slingshotting around planets. We could do the same thing with us. The scale and the of it doesn't matter until it's landing on the planet. The other thing is the cylinder itself. You could pack it in with any gases that we don't need along the way. I mean, we have too much carbon on this planet right now. We can just literally make carbon gas, put it in the cylinder while it's speeding up in there. That'll add some resistance that the magnets have to work against. But as it's going up and gets close to the end, you just open it up into open space. I mean, we could literally build the cylinder out like a railgun out of the planet, far enough out to where it's not affected by the gravity of the moon anymore by the time it
Yeah, well,
releases all the carbon behind it and pushes out into space, giving extra thrust without any kind of nuclear reaction. And that's just to start.
okay, so with gas, I'm imagining that will work. But I'm saying, like, waste matter, like trash. If you would have, like, trash cubes and you just launch them out, they would not speed you up enough to be, like, in any way significant. Because, like, you know, if you want to, like, launch yourself with a spring, imagine a fixed block in the air. There's a ship and a spring between the fixed block and the ship.
Hmm.
If that block wasn't fixed, the ship would not move, because the block would move because the ship is heavier. Because everything has resistance, even in space. So basically, once the block gets heavier than the ship will launch more, like, more significant. Of course, it'll push both apart, but one will move less than the other because it's heavier.
All right.
So
So,
it would work with gas, of course, because it's pressurized gas. It will shoot out.
mhm.
It'll work like a thruster, but it
Well,
won't
yeah,
work
and
with, like, trash.
that's a thruster that's built into the planet, into the gun itself. Once it's from there, we start using the same stuff that's being used. I mean, we have satellites and small drones that are right now traveling out to the asteroid belt uh, that are launching particles from a satellite into asteroids. You can go watch this on NASA's website, driving those asteroids in different directions. China's done this.
Yeah.
Okay? It doesn't take a large particle to push you. The mass of the particle doesn't matter. What matters is the energy released. Okay? Every action up there in a sense, has an equal and opposite reaction depending on the gravitational fields around it. Okay, the
Yeah.
resistance in space is dependent on the gravitational fields that are you are currently interacting with. Okay, not not with not necessarily with anything else. I mean, once you get past the initial gravity of Earth, and you could do that with a slingshot maneuver from the moon, the resistance drops steadily. At that point, solar sails and just aerosol can sprays uh, emitting either single particles, high energy particles, can work to drive a mass of almost any size.
Yeah,
In
but
addition,
still,
if
it's
you
gonna be
aim
like,
it rightly, if you aim it properly, you can use other planets to help drive it along too. Um, there's lots of problems. Problems aren't really the issue at this point, because to initiate this plan is like 40 to 60 years just to start. Okay, so once
hmm.
you have the 40 to 60 years, that's how long we have to figure out all the little minutia of the details, all the little problems with the plans. You know?
And also, a game will only work if the spaceships that like are in it already exist. Because most gamers will
No,
not know how to build a spaceship, of course. Like,
no. That's why we use modular sets of things that we know we can already build, okay? The designs of the ships don't really matter. What matters is that uh, we just input small modular sets of what we can build. I mean, retro thrusters, uh, or even the exploding bombs, or whatever else you want to use. Whatever we're using today can be put into the game using real physics of our solar system, and people can play around with it while the devs, who you said are paying you $5 an hour, could be watching for the ones that work the best under those conditions. And in this way, all of us on the planet are basically a think tank, much like you're a build tank for them. Uh, Literally finding out the best possible designs for the technology we have for these drones to be used, or for the train car, or for space stations, etc. And
mhm.
all it takes is modular sets of the technology we have that can be updated as we figure out new technologies. Make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
And by telling everyone this, it gives everyone a sense of accomplishment that they know they're actually doing something to help our species, to help the planet, to to possibly save us all. Those who want to play can play in their spare time. And we can also institute ways people can earn money from it. People who end up flying drones out there in the Kuiper Belt, if they collect materials that's needed, can be paid for the materials that are needed uh, with a profit sharing system. In addition, we could stop the profit. We could have a limit on how much profit can be made at any one time from any one pilot, so that more and more pilots have a chance to fly these drones, steadily training everyone on how to fly these drones if we do make it out there. I mean, it's inevitable. Either we get off this planet or we're all doomed, one way or another, given enough time. I
Hmm.
mean, Stephen Hawking himself said, I don't know if our species will last another 100 years. Well, my plan could get off the ground in 60 if it's initiated right now, if we start working at it. Any other questions about life, the universe, or anything?
I wasn't even prepared to talk about any of that. Like,
Yeah, I know. That's actually kind of why I started my broadcast again, was because I've been trying to get this idea out there into the right ears. Who knows? Maybe become famous with it. Uh, but if nothing else, ideas have a power of their own. You've watched Star Trek, yes, no? Any of them?
Like, and
None of them? Not none of the movies, none of the series, nothing?
the series one or two times, but not really. Like I never watched it. Like watched it, but
Okay, but you've seen the communicators they used, right?
no. Oh, the little
Originally,
things, yeah.
yeah, the little things that they handheld originally or that were built into their suits, where
Yeah.
they just touch the symbol. Well, originally, before cell phones came out, Star Trek showed us cell phones in the form of communicators. Okay, the
Mm.
communicators, uh, within it was within either 10 or 20 years. I think it's 10 years. We had our first cell phones. So the power of an idea being spread alone can at times be enough to make the idea happen, which is one of the reasons why I'm willing to talk about this stuff and to get it out there. I've told a lot of individual people, and I'm afraid that if governments do it first, they'll just leave us behind and kill us. Unless enough of us are working on it and have our hands in it, then yeah, I could easily see a country like North Korea or China doing this in secret, and then the second it's all done, releasing shit to kill all of us so that they could reclaim this planet for themselves. Which is why I
Hmm.
want to spread this idea so that enough of populace is aware of it and working on it that that kind of becomes a non-starter for them, you know?
Hmm.
Because there's lots of conspiratorial theories out there about technology having been held back 50 plus years. And if that's true, well, guess what? Uh, they're already up there in a sense, and they're fucking laughing at us because they're about to kill us at some point.
Yeah, like that Thor weapon that the US is working on.
I haven't heard about that one specifically. I've kind
So
of.
basically, the Thor is a weapon that works with kinetic energy, so it shoots like massive tungsten rods
Mhm.
towards Earth.
Oh, that's already been done by China. At some point, in fact, that's what the video is on the NASA website of the satellite. Basically, they were launching a tungsten rod from a satellite into an asteroid field to make the asteroids move. And we've
Not only that, if like there is actually scientific data about what would happen if you shot that thing, for example, at like New York.
oh yeah, the
New
city
York
would be
would
basically
not exist
destroyed.
anymore. It would just be
Yeah,
gone.
yeah, yeah. It would basically be destroyed, depending on the speed at which the tungsten thing is fired.
Well, tungsten is basically the heaviest metal you can get at the moment to stay in a shape at heat.
Hmm. Yeah. So, if you were to take tungsten and fire it at gold, it would melt the gold, and all the gold would be carried behind the weight of the tungsten, uh, much like a um, kind of a tractor beam in a sense. Even though it's not, space-time itself would warp with the with the gravity of the tungsten bolt. Even though it's not emitting much, it still emits gravity. And that gravity would literally pull the melted gold that re-solidifies behind it and keep it in line, driving it towards Earth.
Hmm.
I would help, but I don't want to mess anything up.
It works. I'm fine.
If nothing else, you have two streams streaming yourself instead of one, right? Is your voice shared?
I
in
guess so,
party?
yeah.
In party, it's shared?
Yeah, no, normally it should be.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've been thinking about black holes and the universe and stars and everything for
Yeah,
my whole
black
life.
holes is something like I do not want to know if one of those things like emits like a gamma radiation lightning thing. I don't know how it's called like scientifically, but when it reaches its
Gamma ray
critical
burst.
mass, it'll do this and that. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to know? You already know.
I do know what will happen, but I don't want to know what happens when that thing comes towards Earth, or even by Earth.
Well, it, it depends on how far away it was when it was fired, in a sense. I mean, those are basically the particles that are already passing through us all the time, in a sense.
Yeah, but like a million times more.
It depends on how close it is. But yeah, basically the particles that are ending up stopping inside the inside vacuums, like was the device that was used on the space shuttle, uh, is basically using an effect of those gamma rays being bursted from black holes or suns that you spoke of. I
Hmm.
mean, that's how they're generating power, in a sense, already for the space station, to an extent. Not all of it comes from that, but some of it does. And solar panel cells are basically working in the same way, capturing slower particles, slower than the gamma ray particles. And basically, all
Yeah.
particles, in a sense, are gamma ray particles. The only difference is how fast they are moving, how tight the wavelength is of the particle passing through space-time on the quantum level. Any other questions?
Mm.
No? Oh, that sucks. I like answering questions. It helps me think of answers I hadn't thought of before, too.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of time. I'm not the most creative person in terms of building stuff, but in terms of rational thought, I think I'm pretty good.
Mm. Do you think you could build a little dragon statue?
I'll take a spot, see what I can do. I mean, I'm not creative in that sense,
You
you know?
just try it, cause I tried and tried and tried and I can't do it. Cause I need one for the inside of the chapel. So like, I'll just teleport you in here real quick.
No, 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 I'm not
Just
going to
so.
build in there.
No,
I'll
no,
build
just so
one.
you can see how big it can be. Like, right here. So basically, it'll have to stand on here. The wings can go out the side, that doesn't matter, but it'll have to stand on that podium.
13 by, looks like about 30. Okay, I'll go find a spot, build something.
Okay.
Personally, I think they should pay me for my knowledge and ideas in terms of physics and building. Just just give me something there. Let me be famous in one way or another, and we can go from there.
Yeah, but you need like a degree to be
No, you don't. That's fucking bullshit.
for
Uh,
NASA. You'll need a degree because they won't take you without one.
who says I need to be NASA? Einstein wasn't NASA. Dude got honorary degrees. Dude couldn't even do math, basic math. I mean, Isaac Newton was wrong in a sense because every action does not have an equal and opposite reaction. This is already proven by that satellite launching that tungsten rod. if it was true, then
It
wouldn't it
is on
not?
Earth.
Yeah, on Earth, yes, but he didn't do the math. He didn't do any of that stuff. In fact, he was just like a lot of people, self-taught, and then later recognized. I mean, that's what the whole Sheldon Cooper story is all about, in a way. Ah, I never play in creative. How do I pull up that menu again? How do I pull up the? There it is. Do you want it 3D or is two-dimensional okay?
I would prefer 3D, but you can also like do 2D. Like if I don't find anything 3D, I'll probably take 2D.
The big problem is making the train car big enough and sustainable enough to for us to all survive the trip on the way there.
And getting all of us to the moon.
No, that part's easy. We're already doing that.
Yeah, but it would take 3 months. You'd have to like give 3 billion people, 7 billion people, which live on
No.
Earth at the moment. Like you would have to
Well,
get food
not
for
all
them.
7 billion will want to move. Many will want to stay even when the planet's dying. Those that believe that we were meant to be on this planet only. So only plan for those who would want to go, you know? In addition, at first, you would want to do it really slowly anyways. And the way I would do that is basically, we're already sending astronauts to the moon. SpaceX already has a space plane that can fly out of our Earth's orbit and up to the space station with minimal resources. I mean, we just do it slowly.
Hmm.
What color do you want your dragon?
Doesn't matter. Like colors can be changed later. Just be creative. Do what you want at the moment. Like. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna have to give you a color. Give me a sec.
Give me a what?
Every build on the server has to be marked by like with a color. Like at spawn, you can see all those beacons.
Yes.
There's a sign in front of every single one, which says who the beacon color belongs to.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can basically mark whoever's build it is.
not too close here. How are you getting paid?
PayPal.
I've never been good at this kind of stuff. That's why I played in creative, because I could gather and let other people build and just supply the resources. I'm good with designing small stuff, but I don't think I'm the right guy for this one. I could draw it, possibly.
Just give it a try. I mean, Minecraft isn't like, if you place a block, it's not fixed there, so you can still change it.
Yeah, I know.
My build is basically just big. It's not like hard to do.
Yeah, but this is fine detail stuff you're asking for.
Yeah.
I know someone who would actually be into this kind of stuff, and she's actually, from what I understand, fairly popular, so...
If you want to bring somebody else on the server, no problem. Like, just tell her to send me a friend request, and I'll just bring her in. No problem.
Let me see if she's online. She hasn't been responding to me lately, but she's busy with school and stuff. Abner, ABNER 4563.
Give me a sec, I'll just finish this.
I'll pull you into a private chat with her.
Okay. Also, like, the wall was like 5 blocks, not like the very top row. I just added on because of the mountain. It was too high, like not high enough. It didn't go over the mountain, and I would have to remove the
It was only
mountain.
5 high?
No, it was like high. It was like
Well, here I am looking at it, and it's like 13 across. Oh, you're talking up here, up in the top?
yeah, just the very top one.
Because I'm
Very
inside the
top, like,
chapel.
oh, inside the chapel.
That's what I was looking at. I was thinking of trying to make it look like it was crawling up out of the ground in the chapel. Just the head first with the claws. Like this place where it's red.
I guess that will work.
That's what I was thinking. Like the dragon was busting up into the chapel. I'm good with ideas. I'm just not good with creating them. You know.
Yeah. So what I was looking for was like worshipping a dragon. Like
Well, it could be
basically,
the same
like
thing with
like
Poke.
Jesus statue, just a dragon. Like,
Yeah. You could just do a dragon's head with some claws sticking out of the ground here. Like he pokes his head up to be worshipped and then withdraws.
hmm. Yeah, we'll see what it looks like and then we'll decide. Because that might actually be an option.
And that way I just have to do the front claws and the head, basically.
Hmm. Like when I'm going from side to side with the walls, it just hurts my eyes. I just can't even look at the freaking screen.
Yeah. The other thing that they can do with Minecraft is you build something large scale, they could scale it up and down because basically these are individual pixels, right?
And not quite, because some of the blocks just won't work. So I have to do like a lot of work to fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they can like, if you have like a huge roof, you can probably scale it down, yeah. But
Do you have anything you built under your temple?
No, nothing yet.
Do you plan to?
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, I was thinking about doing some catacombs, like just, like below the Notre Dame, but
No circles. Ah.
I'm guessing the closest you could get to circles would be like doing like stairs.
No, you can actually make circles in Minecraft. You just have to do it on a much larger scale.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, we made circular towers and cruise ships and all kinds of crazy shit at one point or
Yeah.
another. But we did, like I said, we did it in survival mode and farmed our materials and shit for the most part.
Yeah, I mean like farming all of these stone bricks, there's like 500,000 stone bricks already.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not kidding. We had like 2, 3 million diamond blocks saved up and shit.
That is not possible.
It is. We still have the
There's a
server.
max of 16,000 diamonds on the map.
I can show you the server, man. I just have to get Smile to log in. Actually, he might even be up now. What time is it? Let me see if he's responding. Send him a text. We'll see if he responds.
Mhm.
Yeah, this one I don't think I can really do justice in this format. Alright, let me change gears. I mean, we could do like a Triforce symbol kind of thing, you know, the Zelda
Mm.
dragon face.
No, I don't know. Wait, let me look it up. Got my PC beside me, so.
Zelda, the Zelda Triforce with wings, they've had a couple dragon shapes along the years. I mean, let's look up pixel art.
Oh, that would be nice, yeah. That would look really cool. But wait. Oh, but that's supposed to be an eagle, though.
Yeah.
But I think it's too big. From what I can see here, it's probably too big. Let me send a picture to you.
Okay.
Like, if you can build that.
Penguin can. I can't necessarily. That's Abner.
No, it's just like copying it down while I'll keep working on the wall. There. There we go. Now let me just make
That gives me an idea. I'll just build that on top of this. Start over.
We can also just, if you want, you can blow it up, like. Oh, you want to curve it that much?
Well, something like that. I was actually thinking even curve it more.
More?
I mean,
Nah,
that's too
then you
long.
can't see it right.
Alright, so that's 13 across for the base. Then we come this way, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, I could fit if we do it like that.
Okay, then try. And then we'll see.
Alright, well that kind of gives me my platform area. I can fill this in.